would put the percentage of peaceful protesters, they're the vast majority of the people who are out there. These are people who feel aggrieved by this running series of police brutality incidents, particularly against people of color. But unfortunately, when you have protests of this size and this magnitude, there are people who are going to use it as an opportunity. Some for pure greed, they're just good old-fashioned thieves. But some are people with political agendas that lean towards white supremacy or towards anarchy, or perhaps in some cases towards some left-wing positions.
From your position and as a former member of the U.S. intelligence community, obviously, you probably have the better eye on this than most people would in terms of what it's going to take to quell protests that have become violent. How do you think the U.S. is doing at this point? I mean, was bringing out the U.S. military the only option?
Actually, that was probably the worst option that could be taken. The show of force done by the president and his senior cabinet, I think, was a critical mistake and probably emboldened more people to come out in peaceful protest. Now, when you have protests that lead to
quell
looting,
those protests.
Yes, when you have
So
protests,
walk me through how, you know what I mean? How do you deal with it then? What was the alternative?
Well, you do need to have some show of force, but it can be a demonstration of force that that isolates those who are causing the damage and quickly arrests those people and take them away. But just shooting randomly with rubber bullets and tear gas canisters and flashbangs into crowds of peaceful demonstrators, I think exacerbates the situation.
No doubt it's a deeply politicized situation as well. We're seeing the, former Vice President Joe Biden coming out now with comments, as well as the president trading barbs. But when you think about this a bit more broadly, obviously we're talking about job losses across the United States that we haven't seen these numbers since the Great Depression. At that time, there was a great deal of social unrest that people tend to forget about, that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had to deal with. And as a student of history, I'm continually seeing so many parallels between that situation and today. At that time, there was a fear that people would move towards socialism and communism as an alternative to liberal democracy. What is your take on what's happening in the United States today? It seems as if, from an international perspective, sitting over here in Abu Dhabi or sitting in Singapore, for example, that the United States has just seemingly lost the plot.
Well, the concern for people like myself, who spent 32 years working in the intelligence business, looking externally at countries of concern, people like me are concerned that we're actually seeing echoes of authoritarianism here in the country, and that has us very worried. Now, do I expect us to become a country, run by some brutal dictator? No, I can't even begin to fathom that could take place. But it is of concern. Demonstrated use of force, not paired with social programs that could perhaps encourage people to get together to try to resolve these issues, I think is a dangerous thing.
What are the political implications then come early November, Larry?
That's tricky. There are some who might argue that this all benefits Joe Biden, that we have an individual who has demonstrated throughout his career a more caring, calming persona, somebody who would be more inclined to fund social programs. But at the same time, you have people who will crave law and order in the face of chaos, and you would have a president like Donald Trump who might appeal to those voters. So I think it just will continue to create the close race that I think we're all expecting.